Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm extremely delighted and honored to stand here for the next times. Last time I was attending the same place, making the same presentation to a different audience, but I can see still some of the familiar faces that I saw it last time. But this time I came with a different update regarding the investment environment in Egypt. Probably the one who is concerned about what is happening in Egypt. Egypt, over the last couple of years, has achieved a remarkable growth, especially when it comes to the foreign direct investment. So, as the name applies of my presentation here, you can see that Egypt is ready. How we see it, Egypt is ready. Egypt is ready with the proper infrastructure that has put in place, where the government invested more than 550 billion US dollar to make the infrastructure ready for you to come to investment. And Egypt is ready also with the different sets of packages of incentives that it has been designed and crafted carefully to ensure that you will be a step ahead from your rivals or competitors, either regionally or globally. Egypt is ready with unprecedented support that the government is already put in place. From the moment you showed the interest all the way until your business up and running, you will be finding that the government dedicated a person in charge to help and to guide and to assist you in order to have a smooth landing in our country. Egypt is ready with a lot of opportunities in different sectors, of which textile business. I guess in the coming slides you will be able to learn more about the capability of Egypt. So that is to give you a quick overview on what had happened over the last couple of years. Indeed, the government has been embarked in a very decisive and aggressive reform with the clear attention to make the business environment is more enabling, more friendly, and more conducive. As a result, Egypt became number one with the first recipient of foreign direct investment in the entire Africa continent. We've been ranked to be the ninth globally. This is in 2024. And also, if you count the amount of foreign direct investment inflow to Africa, Egypt got 49% of the total inflow of the foreign direct investment. It means there is a very strong vote of confidence that the business environment has become one of the most favorable destinations for investment for the investors across the globe. And these graphs showed that we were steadily growing until we made a remarkable jump in 24, and hopefully that we maintain the same position. So it is not only the reform that has been conducted by the government, it is also some of the advantages that we call it, some of them we call it the man-made advantages, and others we have been blessed by God. Some of the great advantages that the location, if you look at the square or the rectangle with the blue colors, you will find that Egypt is well positioned on the map. If you go to any country, they will see, or they will tell you that we are strategically located. We are well positioned on the map. But if you look at Egypt here, located in the crossroad of three continents, we are a part of Africa, next to Europe, and very proximate to Asia region. And having the Suez Canal waterway that represents the only direct connection between East and West. Nearly 12.5% of the maritime business are crossing Egypt every year. Nearly more than 22% of the container business are crossing Egypt. So that is the real meaning of strategic location. If you translate it and from the point of view of the investors, it will be reflected on the lead time, cost of shipping, accessibility. Second, that if you look at here at the local market, we are a very populous country. Our population is 110. We're growing by 2.5%. So it's a little bit sizable market for anyone who's looking for doing business. Adding to that, the workforce that we have over 31 million people are working on the workforce. And if you compare here in Egypt versus any other country in the world, you will find that we are among the most competitive when it comes to the salary of the labor in different categories. Please look at here also the cost of electricity. It's a part of the cost of doing business in Egypt here. 1 kilowatt of electricity would cost you 4 cents. If you compare this with any other country, even the Asian countries like Vietnam, Bangladesh, or any other country, you can imagine how Egypt has become one of the most competitive countries when it comes to the cost of doing business. And generally, the cost of doing business in Egypt is actually quite attractive for anyone. So it is not only the local market, it is not only the infrastructure, it is not only the regulation, but the accessibility as well. Egypt has signed a lot of multilateral and bilateral free trade agreement with the surrounding clusters. In a sense that we have already agreement with the entire European countries, with the United States, with Latin America, with Gulf area, with entire Africa continent. More than 70 countries that you have outstanding access free to those markets. So you can produce in Egypt, you can export to Europe with zero custom duty. That is a big advantages. If you compare it here to United States, nearly we are not 100% exempted, but we have 10% to be paid, but we are among the lowest across the globe when it comes to the new tariff that has been imposed by Mr. Trump. But still we are, the one is actually considered to be among the lowest in the globe. So also we have the vertical integration for the supply chain that I'll come to this in the coming slides. This is also very important to say that we're talking about nearshoring. After the disruption happened to the supply chain due to the different event that has been took place, either COVID or China, the Russia-Ukraine war, or even the Gaza war, so everything has been actually disrupted. So and most of the multinational companies are just started to change their way of thinking, and instead of talking about globalization, everybody is talking about nearshoring. Nearshoring, it means that, of course, you can be in the one country that can cover the big part of the world, but at the end of the day, at a certain point of time, you cannot reach to me. Your product cannot reach to me. So everybody now is talking about nearshoring. So being in Egypt, that you have, if you talk about Turkey, you are talking about 3 to 6 days. To EU, it ranges from 5 to 10 days maximum. Africa, 4 to 12 days. Asia, 18 to 22. And the United States, 12 to 20 days. This is actually a big advantage for anyone who is looking for where you can be close to the nearshoring or a part of the supply chain. This is actually the future looking, where we are planning, where we are heading as a country. We are planning to reach 6 to 7% GDP growth. We also plan to create jobs of 8 million jobs. Private sector involvement is planned to increase it to 70%. Our total export is expected to reach $145 billion by 2030. And of course, the green renewable electricity and renewable energy is planned to be 42% by 2030. This is actually the sector of focus, of which, as you can find, textile is one of the sector of focus. Here it's a very important slide. I would like to stop here and to explain more about. Any company wants to do business in Egypt, they are coming with a certain plan. They have a plan to either leverage on the capability of Egypt, the advantages, the benefit that they would get of doing business. So some of them, they are looking for Egypt as I can produce for the local market. So we have schemes here. We might advise you to go for the investment park, where it has been developed by private sector, well-established infrastructure, proper infrastructure are in place, and you can ready to start immediately as long as you are targeting the local market. Some other, they are coming with a certain plan. I would like to leverage on Egypt as a destination where I want to use it as a hub to distribute my product to the whole world. I want to get the benefit of the location of Egypt, the lower cost of doing business, the competitiveness, the experience of the laborers. So I would like to use it and to export 100% or majority of my production to the whole world. So in such cases, we might recommend him to go for free zone. What are the benefits of free zone? Simply, it is tax-free, custom-free. No taxes, no custom duties, but in only one condition, you have to export over 80% of your total production. So that's very simple. You can operate in an offshore area, no custom duties to be imposed on any materials or any production or any production lines or anything that you are planning to import from outside. But on return, you have to export majority of your production. Another scheme which is quite similar, but it is not imposed you to export 80%, but it's a little bit lower than percentage, nearly 60 to 70%. This is a special economic zone. It is custom-free, VAT-free, but you have to export 60 or 70% of your total production. Those are the two schemes that is being imposed but being introduced by the government in order to eat the way to take the advantage of doing business in Egypt. Here is also something that we already introduced recently, which is the single approval or the single license approval, or we brand it to be what's so-called golden ticket or golden license. Golden license, it means that this has been introduced because some people were claiming that still we are facing some challenges while we are incorporating our company in getting licenses, approval, industrial license, civil license, building permits. All these things was something we have seen so many companies, they were complaining from not being able to get it on time. So that is why we decided to introduce, this is a golden license. You get this license before you start your operation. Who is giving you the license? It's the Prime Minister himself with the membership of the ministers related to the project. So you don't have to do anything. Once you get this license, you get it today, dig tomorrow, and you start the constructions, and you can proceed with your project. This is the zero bureaucracy license, and so many companies, they have already gotten this, and most of them are enjoying, and most of the companies that they got the license, they started nearly, before 1 year, they start the production. Actually, it is very effective and very appreciated from the business community. So let me just give you a quick overview on the textile industry in Egypt, because it's very important to understand exactly this sector, because it's one of the sector of focus for the government, simply because this is an intensive labor industry. Actually, Egypt historically is known for these sectors. We have a lot of experiences. We would like to leverage on the capability of Egypt and the free trade agreement and the advantages to introduce it to you in the coming slides. So this is the second, just to give you the Egypt textile value chain in Egypt. This sector is the second largest industrial sectors. More than 15,000 people are working for 15,000 companies operating on this sectors. 35% of the industrial output, 34% of the industrial output. The total export of this sector is 4.8 billion. 12% of the total export in 24, 15% growth in 23-24, and the number of people are working for this sector is nearly 2 million people. This is just a quick glimpse about the textile industry, and then you can see that the textile FDI, last year, we received $1 billion investment in these sectors. And this year, I can assure you, we will be receiving more than 2.5 billion US dollar. We have more than, I would say, 40 plus Asian companies. They invested in Egypt with the huge investment. We are expecting the total export to jump in 27 from 4.8 will be close to 10 billion US dollar. So you can imagine that more than 40 companies from the tycoon across the globe. Last year, we received 1 billion US dollar. We are expecting this year to reach another 2.5 billion US dollar. We have seen more than 40 Asian companies. They decided to invest in Egypt, especially in the Kantaragar area. Most of them are one of the market leaders, and they have a clear attention to utilize Egypt as a hub. Most of them, they are actually targeting Egypt to utilize Egypt as a hub to export nearly close to 100% of their production to United States, to EU market. So we are expecting these numbers will be doubled, and we are expecting also the amount of export from Egypt. It will be hitting nearly 10 billion US dollar in the coming 2 years. Also, it is very, just for apparel business, I would like to highlight, to spot it out, because it's very important to understand is when we're talking about textile, we are talking about the full supply chain of the textiles, textile and the clothing and the apparel. So I've already selected the apparel to understand exactly where we stand and the position of Egypt at that. Egypt upstream textile export reached 1.1 in 2024 and making 3% growth. And we are actually the biggest exporter, the 5th biggest exporter to Turkey, the 6th in the denim fabric, and the 11th of the cotton business ranking globally. So that is to understand where the textile and the apparel business. Egypt apparel export recorded 2.8 billion in 2004. And if you look at exactly we were growing by on a yearly basis, then we went from 2.5 billion to nearly 3 billion with the growth rate of 21%. This is before the big giant entering to the market. So, but after the big giant already joined, then we're expecting this number to be maybe triples, not doubled. To understand exactly which destinations of the export, nearly 46% of our total export is directed to United States markets, and this is the rest. You can see exactly from 2019 to 24. You can imagine that our growth and where we stand and we are heading when it comes to the export. We are actually, this industry is vertically integrated. You can see that cotton, spinning, diving, finishing, all the chain it is vertically integrated. As I just wanted to show off to you that we have everything is in place and ready, and the supply chain can accommodate whatever request you can find someone who can provide you with the raw materials. And most of the suppliers actually has been one of the accredited one. You can find the supplier that provide you with the material that is help you to be more competitive, and you can cover the orders that you are receiving from the client, either United States or from Europe. Please take a photo of this one. We have made this one to compare different countries that we believe from our standing point that those are could be the competitors. If you are looking for the competitiveness, here are the countries that known that they are most competitive when it comes to the textile industry. They used to be the most competitive countries when it comes for cost of doing business. If you look at here, you'll find Egypt either among the lowest, if it's not the lowest. So Egypt is here. 1 kilowatt would cost you 4 cents. Compare it to any of the Asian countries, compare it to N1, you can understand the real meaning of how competitive we are versus any other country that is considered to be one of the major hubs. Somebody would ask you why, if you are such a competitive country, why your number is so not that impressive when you compare to other countries? Yes, This is the right question to be asked, but I would say that we were actually working in developing the country, developing the laws, regulations, infrastructures. We were prepared. Now we are ready to take off. And we see that the numbers that we are growing by 25%, the export that I showed in the previous slides, we were growing by 95%. So the future is very bright. We are expecting so much investment coming. We are expecting Egypt to be one of the most competitive country when it comes to the textile business in the entire region. This is coming to the very important slides that, of course, if I am convinced about doing business, what shall I do? It's a very important question that, especially for those who are not Egyptians, who are not familiar with how to do business in Egypt here. So we have here, of course, this is a journey. It started from the moment you showed the interest in, then, okay, I want to explore. I'm not actually, I didn't take the decision to invest in Egypt, but it rather that I'm just thinking, considering, studying, analyzing. So I need somebody to help me, to guide, to assist me. From where I get the information, I would like to make a market study, market assessment. So from whom should I trust? Where should I start? Whom should I talk to? So we have a team that is in GAFI, have nothing but to serve you. We have a team dedicated to serve, doing nothing but to stand, just guiding, helping, assisting, provide any necessary information, data that would help you to better understand the market. And if you would like to take any steps forward, either to go and investigate, to get the land, to find the partner, to complete your feasibility study, they will be ready. And here we have Manar and the colleague. Please, can you stand up to show off? I already came here with my team here. Also, just if you need any support, they will be ready to help you. And all the services, all the support that will be given, it is absolutely free of charge. So that is nothing more to tell, but just because I know that you are quite busy, you want to continue discussion with your client, but this is in a nutshell exactly what Egypt can offer to you when it comes to the investment or doing business in Egypt. And thank you very much for your attentions, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to. Thank you very much.